This is, as you can see, removable. A ball hits it, it's okay, don't cry. This will fix it. And to put it back on, it just kind of snaps into place. Make sure it's centered. And it pops right back on. This is cool because sometime in the future, maybe I'll even make a new diorama for that point. All right, and down here is a mounting bracket. You'll see this is step 2. This comes in later. This is your matrix lighting. This will be quite handy. And this is your plastic that's going to replace the giant plastic, the Tiny Taverns plastic. That's just 2D. This has some great texture and blue lighting. You're going to love it. So here is the plastic you're going to replace, the Tiny Tavern plastic. Now, the first thing you're going to do, of course, is make sure that your play field is off, the whole entire machine is off. Then you're going to pull the table out on its front rails. So, grab it here, pull it up, rest it, grab both of the arms, pull it out. You'll hear a little clank, and then bring it out as far as you can and rest onto the rubber little toes at the end of these rails. And voila, now you have access to everything. So there's the Teeny's Tavern plastic we're going to replace. And if you look behind it, hey, what's that? It's Teeny's Tavern. It's already there, it's buried. Well, guess what? We're going to bring this out into the open. So step 1, we're going to take off Tiny's Tavern plastic. As you see, there are 4 screws on this assembly. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to want a Phillips head screwdriver. You're going to want needle nose pliers. Now, what's important that you're going to just be so thankful that you have is a magnetic tip on this bad boy. If you lose a screw or a nylon nut into the playfield, you'll never see it again and you'll hate pinball for the rest of your life. So make sure you get a magnetic tip screwdriver. All right, the first thing we're going to do, if you look back here, do you see these little nylon nuts? You're going to need to secure these with your needle nose pliers. So first we're going to grab this bottom nut down here, okay? Get nice and tight. Then we're going to go over to the screw head. We're going to unscrew it very carefully, okay? Make sure you do not lose the nut on here. Do it just enough for this nut to come out. So here we go. Okay, the nut is out. All right, keep the screw in the plate for now. Now make sure you remove this screw, okay? Now you're gonna do the same thing for this top screw. You're gonna back it up with the needle nose pliers on that nylon nut back there. And once that is off, we're gonna take off these 2 screws that are mounting this whole diorama. These 2 screws just come right out. You don't need needle nose pliers. Okay, I removed all 4 of these screws. As you see, this comes right off. And look behind here is a little light board. Do you see these white plastic spacers? Leave those on. Do not remove those. We're gonna need those, okay? Because these is gonna be very easy to put the tower diorama on. So here is the tower diorama. Pretty awesome, right? So basically, this is gonna mount right to this bracket, and it's gonna be the same configuration. You're gonna use your nylon nuts and your longer screws to mount it back on here. So it's 4 total screws. So make sure you use the small screws to mount this new tower diorama first before you use the longer screws and the nylon washers. So make sure you have a firm grip on your nylon washer. We'll do the bottom one first. Kind of hold it back here where it goes. Use your fingers to kind of put the long screw back where it goes and then in through the white spacers. Get in there. So once that pops through the white spacer, get your nylon nut right where it belongs to back up that screw. And then, well, we screw it in. Make sure you got a firm grip on that nylon washer. So once all of those 4 screws are in, you'll see it's mounted, looks real nice. It's kind of out of the way. These Tiny Tavern back here starting to come out of the woodwork. The next step is to mount our support bracket on this screw right here. So this should be, just grab your screwdriver and unscrew it. If it's, do you see that hex nut below down here? If you're unscrewing this and this little hex nut below is stuck, get your needle nose pliers on there and hold it. And then you should be able to just unscrew this. And you don't want to go all the way. You just want to go just enough to fit this bracket in here. So now that we unscrewed it a little bit, we're gonna grab this support bracket that came with your package, all right? It's a little black, kind of nothing little support bracket. And this should slide right on underneath that screw. You see that? How it's slid on there? Have it kind of point straight out just like that, and then tighten down that screw. All right, that screw is tight. Support bracket should be just about like that. That's just where we need it to mount our mod. So here is the Tiny Tavern's diorama with all the barrels and whatnot. Now you'll see in here, there is a lighting harness. Now I recommend removing the harness. It slides right out and slides right back in for later. And do you see how that LED light is right in the middle? That's where it should be when it goes back in. So remove this harness, okay? Then what we're gonna do with this lighting harness, if you look down here, you'll see those little black cables that go into a hole down there. The first thing we'll do with the actual light itself, we'll stick it kind of over here for later. See that light? And then we'll take our connector end and stick it right down into this hole. And then there's another hole below that that goes into directly below that goes under the playfield. Stick this whole thing all down in there so that it will be sticking up and ready for connecting under the playfield in a just about like that. Is perfect. All right, this is the area where we're gonna mount our mod. We're gonna use this screw as a mounting point and this screw as a mounting point. This is up high. Don't use this low one, use this nice high screw here. All right, we're just gonna remove these screws real quick. Hopefully you've got your magnetic tipped screwdriver and set these screws aside. We're gonna use these to mount the mod. Boom, and then the other one right here. Boom, once again, if that hex post starts spinning, you can hold it in place with your needle nose pliers. Okay, there's the two screws. Okay, here's our mod. Here's our light that we stuck up in here. Go ahead and stick that light right back into the mod to the LED. You can see that LED. Then go ahead and find where those two screw holes are. And then I usually like to do the front screw first. So whatever front screw you pulled out, that's the screw that you're gonna put back in. Hold it in place, get your screw into that hole, and screw it in. Not perfectly tight, you might want to rotate a little bit, and then we're going to screw in the back one too. And then that's the second screw, and guess what? This mod is mounted. You can see it's nice and firm in here with the two mounting points and then our support bracket. If these barrels fall off during installation, well, you know what? Just put them back on. Make sure your wire's tucked in there. This mod is mounted. So we got to lift the playfield all the way up now to get to that wire harness that we put underneath the playfield. So the first thing you got to do, and this is very important, is come down here and look at this solenoid right here. Okay, you see this? You're going to hit that 6 times to remove all the balls out of the playfield. Okay, so watch me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Take these balls and remove them from the playfield. So once the balls are removed, you can pull this all the way out till it stops and then push it up all the way. And make sure down here, when you lift this playfield up, that you got metal to metal here and metal to metal here to make sure the playfield is nice and even. Hey, look at here. Here is the wire that we sent through on a previous step, right? So what you want to get now is a 1/4 inch nut driver, like this one. And then over here, you will see a GI light. It's It's the second one from this circuit board. So what you want to do is grab your 1/4-inch nut driver, pop it on there, unscrew this light. It's just a little wood screw that comes out. There's the wood screw. And then pull out this lamp. So this is the Comet Matrix connector that came with your set. Now I recommend bending this light a little bit so it's pointing straight up. Then we're going to take the socket that we pulled out. We're going to remove the lamp that it came with, put it in your coin box, put the new lamp in here, twist it on. Now you want to make sure these 2 wires are pointing down, okay? And then drop it back into that hole and from which it came. And get it in here. Make sure these wires at the bottom stay out of there. And then there it is. Now I'm going to grab my screw and my nut driver. And I'm going to screw this back in. And then as you'll see, I still have this little dongle hanging out at the bottom. I'm going to connect this wire to this dongle. So here I've got it here, I've pulled it out. I'm gonna wrap it below this solenoid. Make sure it doesn't get in the way of anything. It fits real nice, kind of just here at the bottom. Grab your connector here, and it only goes one way. And then connect it. So once this wire is connected, your mod is fully installed. So now what I'm gonna do is lower this playfield again. Be careful, get it back on its rails. And then when you are ready to put the whole playfield into the machine, go as far as you can here, lift up on this back handle to get above the little hump, and put your playfield all the way back in. Take your balls, put them back in. So now just power your game back on with your little switch here. Startup will happen, and within seconds here, you're gonna see the wonderful lighting effects of the new mod. There it goes. And there it is. You'll see all the 4 blue feature lights are here, and over here you can see, hey, the tavern's out here now. And it's all lit up. Everyone's having a great time at Tiny's. They just love that it came out of nowhere, replaced that dumb 2D plastic. And that is the whole installation process. It's pretty simple, really. And you can take your old plastic, right, and you can put this in your coin box, all right? Save it, maybe put it in a bag, put it somewhere safe, put it in your coin box. And also, if you look over here in the playfield, don't forget about Physmo's mod here. This is another mod we make. This one's a little easier to install, and it looks fantastic. As you can see, these mods together, they are kind of color matched. They use the same blue lighting. For Physmo, the Physmo shop window lights up whenever there's a treasure available on your campaign. Okay, thanks for the purchase. Bye-bye.